The green light says, I would like the original X-Men cast back, but should X-Men Apocalypse focus on the first class cast or the trilogy cast?
I think you're going to see a slight mixing of the two, but I think for the most part, they're going to come up with some device that are going to bring the first class cast into the more modern era. I think you're going to focus more on them. But as long as he draws breath, I think Fox is going to try to have Hugh Jackman play Wolverine for as long as they possibly can until he just falls apart.
Or they can start doing that commercial, the John Wayne stuff, where they just start sticking him in the like the old school they used to do in Last Action Hero. They stick him in there. Yeah, I think we're going to see a crossover, a couple of really cool things that you're going to see the time travel element work. I'm so excited for that movie.
I mean, look, I'm on record as saying this. I think you let the starters play, and then when they get tired, you can put in the first class kids because they're adorable. They can spell the other guys, but I want to see the original cast more.
Yeah, I think you're everything you guys just said. You're going to see a hybrid of the two. Yeah, thanks for making me go last, so I have nothing to add to this experience. Yeah, but I would love to see Sir Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart just tearing down some Apocalypse. I'd love to see the old school, not the first class.
Like, how is Patrick Stewart not knighted?
Is he not knighted?
How is he not knighted?
No one calls him Sir. Yeah.
Maybe it's because he went by the name Jean-Luc Picard. And
yeah, I call him Jean-Luc Picard all the time.
Yeah, they call him Captain everywhere he goes.
I will say this about First Class. I used to love that movie, but the more I watched it, the more I realized what I loved about it was Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. Was their new versions. I love Professor X. I love Magneto.
Yeah.
And I love Sebastian Shaw. But the kids themselves, I can actually really live without.
They're the B team.
They're
junior varsity.
I guess I love it.
I still love that movie.
That's my favorite.
I still like it very much. I just realized what parts I love about it.
It does have Kevin Bacon in it. So.
What else do we got?
Alan Michael wants to know if Noah does well this year, will we see a return of the epic that has been kind of missing lately?
I mean, it's kind of like World of Warcraft that way, right? I mean, if Warcraft does really well, we're going to see the floodgates open up for these fantasy and more video game movies, but especially like sword and sorcery, fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons kind of feel films. I think Noah is the same thing. I think a lot of people are going to be, the studios are going to be watching this really closely. If it can do really well and perform well, absolutely. But that, will it do really all that well? I'm not convinced it will. It could be great because I love Aronofsky and everything. It might be great. I just don't know how much broad market appeal the film's going to have, so we'll have to wait and see.
I think that there's also another chance is if Exodus does well. Because Noah right now, there's been a lot of problems with all the religious groups and everything too, so you might get a mulligan on that one because, it's got the whole the religious theme. But I mean, Exodus does too, obviously. But I want to see what Exodus does. That's one I'm really looking forward to.
I think Noah is going to crush in certain parts of Kansas. And I think that there's a lot of cool stories just from the Bible and from these other religious groups that I think you could make big screen. And now, unlike back in the day when you didn't have the effects, you can actually make these things look really, really cool now. You actually put the power of God on screen now. So I'd like to see it come back, and I think it probably will.
I thought Lord of the Rings was supposed to be the thing that opened the floodgates for us.
You'd think, right?
Weren't we already there? So if Lord of the Rings didn't do it, I don't think Noah's gonna do it. I think Noah's gonna do well, but I think in the end we're gonna have the next few years be the same stuff we've seen lately.
Yeah. So. All right, what's next?
R.S. Buckner says, hey guys, in light of Robocop opening this weekend, what 80s movie would you like to see rebooted or remade?
I have always said this, I will continue to say it, Megaforce. Life is like a wheel, it all comes around. I want a Megaforce reboot so bad. Now granted, it would look like a cheap G.I. Joe knockoff. I'm not denying that at all, but I don't care. And I want the same guy who played Ace. I want the same guy who played Ace back. Anyway, what would you guys reboot?
I actually had this conversation the other day with someone. I'd like to see Highlander. Because Highlander is good.
Well, they've been talking about it, too.
Yeah, but you look at Highlander now and you're like, that was better left in the past. Yeah. So you just go back and you go to your Lord of the Rings and Lego movies. But Highlander for me.
I'm going to say Adventures in Babysitting. I want to see what's happening with Chris Parker's character now in her 50s. And I'd kind of like to see Dune redone. I think that could be really cool.
They've been trying. Wasn't who just directed Lone Survivor?
Peter Berg.
Yeah, he was working on a Dune movie for the longest time before that got derailed. Yeah.
Well, they killed Red Dawn for me. But I'm going to go ahead and say Time Bandits. Time Bandits.
That would work.
Time Bandits would work. Flash Gordon's another one I'd like to see. But those two.
Oh my God!
Flash Gordon would be cool. I'm telling you, there's a whole other show. We'll talk about it some other time.
Quick note: Highlander is actually my top 10 favorite films of all time.
Oh, really?
The original, yeah.
Do you watch it lately?
Not in the past year.
Watch it today.
Yeah. With the Kurgan and everything. Okay.
So glad you guys can be friends. That's cute.
Garrett Farney says, what do you think we will see first? A Ruffalo Hulk standalone movie or a Miss Marvel movie?
I really don't think Kevin Feige is all that keen on getting a standalone Hulk movie going. I think they see him more as an amazing supporting beam in the building that is Marvel. So I think, honestly, I think we're going to see Miss Marvel first. And I'm not even completely convinced that we're going to see Miss Marvel movie at all. What do you guys think?
I think we see a Hulk movie first. I think because Ms. Marvel, I don't think is so widely known to casual fans as the way that Hulk is, and I think Hulk was like the star of the Avengers almost. So you know, there were rumors of the Planet Hulk movie. Whether or not that's going to come to fruition, who knows? But I want to see that movie. I actually liked the last Incredible Hulk movie very much.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Hulk may be better utilized as instant offense in a bigger movie, but I think that seeing the response that he got from the Avengers, I think you just simply can't deny him his own movie. And Miss Marvel, again, I don't know that the market's there for it. I'm just not familiar with the character, so.
I feel like everyone's heart's going to break if they, you know, the Hulk was so huge in the Avengers, and he gets his own movie and it makes, you know, $50 million or something, and then everyone's going to see the mortality of it. I think we'd see Miss Marvel before the Hulk because I like the Incredible Hulk too, but of the Marvel Avengers Prelude movies, it wasn't the one that people talk about. So I say Miss Marvel for the sake of playing devil's advocate.
And remember, Marvel right now doesn't seem to be scared of elevating their lesser-known characters.
That's
Guardians
true,
of the Galaxy, Ant-Man. Like if it was a DC property, yeah, I'd say they're never going to do it.
Yeah.
But
Well, even Iron Man when it came out, a lot of people didn't really know
it's
about
not a
Iron Man.
headline
Yeah,
name. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Marcus Miles wants to know if anyone has any thoughts on Stephen King's Cell being made with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack. Do you fear it will draw comparisons to 28 Days Later?
Well, I'm interested simply because, what was it, Room 21,005? What was the name?
1408.
1408?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually, that was a movie that oddly kind of hit me right. I mean, I didn't walk away going, this is my top 20 of the year, but something about the chemistry between the two oddly worked for me. So I'd be down for anything with them. As far as the Cell goes, I don't know that it would work.
I'm really excited for this.
Okay.
But I don't want it to go down the same creepy path as 1408 because that's a really cool movie for like an hour. Then you feel like you chugged NyQuil and you can't really focus on what's happening anymore. So I think that with the Cell, I think that material is going to be better suited, and I think that those two guys are going to knock it out of the park.
I know nothing about Stephen King's Cell, so I'm going to talk about The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it either, but I actually did like 1408. It had a lot of creepy moments to it, but it was their back and forth that I really dug. So I'm up for those guys are both great, so I'm up for whatever they do.
All right, what's next?
Jeremy Rivera wants to know, do you guys think fans would be more into the Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor news if it was just a Superman and Lex Luthor movie?
No, I think they're taking it for what it is. It's funny, our next AMC Versus is going to be, is Jesse Eisenberg the right choice for Lex Luthor or not? So we're going to be recording that later today. So no, I think it would be the same reaction, honestly. I really do. What do you guys think?
It's just that clear vision that you have for what Lex Luthor was, and you think about, you know, when Bryan Cranston or Mark Strong or those guys are rumored, those are the guys that kind of embody what Lex Luthor is. So he's fighting uphill battle no matter what. So when yeah, I don't think it would matter what movie it was. It's just the fact he's playing Lex Luthor. It doesn't matter what it was for. They're gonna go up in arms.
Yeah, I think with this movie, you expected to see Lex Luthor anyway. The surprises were Batman and Wonder Woman and all these other people, but I think you knew you were going to get a Lex Luthor. So the fact that Jesse Eisenberg got cast, you can debate that, but the fact that he was actually going to be announced in the movie, I don't think that was a big deal.
Yeah, I actually saw a fan poster where someone took Jesse Eisenberg, made him look like Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
People were
balded
like,
him.
see, it's good, but his look isn't what concerns me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's his general persona of Jesse Eisenberg.
I think he's going to be great, but again, that's another debate. But I think he's going to be awesome.
All right, what's next?
CT Merez wants to know if we think there'll be any chance that Ben Foster is coming back as Archangel in X-Men Apocalypse, especially with all the time traveling going on.
I absolutely wish he would, because now that Chiwetel Ejiofor is well known, I can call Ben Foster the guy I believe is the most underrated actor in Hollywood right now. The guy is remarkable. Now, will they do it? I have a feeling not, but I would love it if they did.
He was so good in Lone Survivor, and he was in 3:10 to Yuma, I believe, too.
In which he upstaged Christian Bale and Russell Crowe.
Yeah, sure did.
His
Like, it's
commitment
crazy.
is off the charts, and so yeah, I'd love to see him come
He's
back.
great. I don't think it's going to happen for the same reason that they're not going to bring Taylor Kitsch back for Gambit. It's just it's just the same. They want to get past those movies. and they want to. I don't think that they should. I think they should bring him back, and I think they should bring Taylor Kitsch back. It doesn't matter. They're not to blame for those movies. They're the characters that we accepted. Put them in a good movie. Let's see what they can do in a good film.
Well, it's also like the Smallville argument too that we were talking about yesterday. Is that like you can't bring back that Lex Luthor because he's already played Lex Luthor. So you kind of damn yourself if you've already done this. So you only get one shot at it, and if that wasn't the right engine, you're screwed. Yeah,
I'd say accepting the characters is a pretty long stretch. I never said, oh, Taylor Kitsch was a great Gambit. Ben Foster was really good as Angel, though. But I think they're using the time travel element to depart from any of the bad X-Men movies.
Yes.
So anything that reminds people of it, they're not going to have. So now it's not going to happen.
Time travel makes bad movies go.
Yeah,
no problem. Continuity errors, no problem.
Maybe episode 7 will do that with the prequels.
Right.
What's next?
JAS wants to know what we think of The Watchmen. In my opinion, it's the best graphic novel movie adaptation I've ever seen.
Dennis Zen, our production manager here, obviously on the show all the time, loves that movie. I was kind of let down by it a bit. To me, it didn't have the kick that I was kind of looking for. And look, that's a graphic novel that everybody said, for good reason, for decades, can't be made into a movie. It's impossible. And I think Zack Snyder and his team did about as good of a job as you possibly could bringing that to the big screen. To me, it just wasn't a story that translated well, and I don't think you could have done it much better. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I out to the left field here?
Well, no, I think you're on the right page, because for me, I think shot by shot, what Zack Snyder did for the movie is, I would love the graphic novel. Shot by shot looked just like it. However, it's what scares me about the Eisenberg thing was some of the casting. Matthew Good and Malin Akerman took me out of the movie for a lot of the scenes. I thought some of the casting was really, really good, but overall, I thought it was good, not great.
What took me out of the movie was seeing the big blue penis constantly. But I agree with you that Zack Snyder did about as good of a job as he possibly could have with that material. It was just so hard. Like, that was like the X-Men training room dialed up to 10 on a level of difficulty scale. So he did as good a job as he could have done with it, but I don't need to see any more of that on the big screen. I think it should stay a graphic novel.
I actually enjoyed Watchmen. It's got to be my #1 most requested review this movie. So spoiler alert, I enjoyed Watchmen.
Here it is right now.
Yeah, no, man, that's my review. Done. No, but I enjoyed it. I agree that it lost a lot of the depth to it, but you still watch the movie and you walk out going, okay, it was like 7 hours long, but I still enjoyed it. And I enjoyed what they did with the ending, surprisingly. I'm like one of 2 people that enjoyed the different
Yeah, that's where you had to change that ending.
Yeah, right,
you couldn't
absolutely.
get away with not changing that ending. All right, let's take a few more.
Super Jam 85 wants to know if we think there'll be a possibility of a Captain Planet movie.
Well, they've been talking about it for a while. Now, of course, those
Don Cheadle.
the Don Cheadle videos are hilarious. I thought I would get tired of it after about 20 seconds, but I don't. I can watch it all the time. It's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really stupid idea, but I said the same thing about the Lego movie when I first heard about it, so what do I know?
I mean, yeah, if Don Cheadle makes a cameo, I'm in. I don't care about the story. You know, again, same thing. If it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah, anything with a big name like Captain Planet, it's got a chance of getting made. So.
Yeah.
I would love to have that Iron Man experience, going in and thinking it's going to be some 90-minute piece of garbage, and you walk out going, Captain Planet was the coolest thing of the year.
You risk your credibility by saying it, but you stick by it. You're like, no, Captain Planet actually was the best thing since Braveheart.
Guys, Vampire Academy. No, never mind. Okay, sorry, what's next?
Are you making fun
Sorry,
of my Vampire Academy?
I might have been
Did
poking
you
a
really
little
just
fun at
do
Chris
that?
Lee there.
You're really making fun of that. Yeah, all right. Senior Nerd wants to know, should Sam Raimi come back to making superhero movies, or should he stick with horror movies?
I don't think I don't think it's one or the other. I think he needs to stay away from the superhero. I'm one of the guys who I unabashedly loved what he did with Oz. I really did like it because it felt like a movie made in the same time period that they made Wizard of Oz. Like it was almost like an act within an act, and I thought they pulled it off really well. Was it a perfect movie? No, but I really dug it. I really like his horror stuff an awful lot. Take Me to Hell I thought was actually a real fun little film. But I don't think he just has to stay in horror. I think he's got other things he can do, like an Oz. I'd love to see him do some sci-fi, actually, but stay away from the superhero stuff for a while.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of boxing in directors and saying, like, you can only make this kind of movie forever, but I love what he does with horror films. I like Drag Me to Hell. I love that movie. I'd like to see him do a superhero film, maybe a not as well-known a superhero as something like Spider-Man, where everybody is going to be on chat boards constantly. Do something smaller that we haven't heard of as much. Maybe he can do Captain Planet. Maybe he can do Marvel. But I just like to see the guy make movies. I think he's got, whether it hits or misses, I like what he does. I like the effort he puts into it.
Jeremy?
Right, it's the same thing. Boxing a guy in saying, all right, this or that or just that. Sam Raimi, give us a remake of The Firm. That's what we need. We need Raimi to do something other than those two genres, because he fell out of love with superhero movies in Spider-Man 3. So until he comes back in love with them, stay away, do whatever you need.
Stay away and give me Army of Darkness too, man.
Right.
I want to see him go back to the Evil Dead world. That's what I want to see. Have him work with Bruce Campbell as the lead again. I want to see that too. I don't need him to make another Spider-Man movie or another superhero movie.
You just make Spider-Man 4. Just go ahead and make it.
Get John Malkovich back as the Vulture, and away we go. All right, what's next?
Samantha Tame wants to know, with Rush being successful, can you see any more F1 movies being made? Ooh,
Yes.
and the crowd goes quiet.
I was trying to
think of stories you care
box
about.
office receipts of Rush in my head,
Yeah,
and
it
didn't do well.
Didn't
No,
do bad. Didn't
Yeah.
do bad.
Well, it did okay. It was a little disappointing for opening weekend and stuff too. But then it was the word of mouth and the fact that because everyone when that trailer came out, everyone's like, "Oh, it's Days of Thunder. I'm not going to see that." And then what you had was this great rivalry. But that again goes back to the consistent theme of what we're talking about today, and that's the directing, the performances. Daniel Bruhl coming out of left field
Oh
throwing
my God, he
bombs.
was so good in that movie.
Yeah, so good. So like that, that's tough. I mean, you can make a movie literally about anything if you have the right writer, director, and putting it together in story. And Hans Zimmer's score in that film was out of control. So
I can't imagine another F1 movie being that good and being that dramatic and being based on a true story too. So don't make another.
Yeah.
Make a Rush movie about the band.
Oh, no.
You know what?
Today's Tom Sawyer.
It's not actually. It's not the same kind of racing, but I think that's what we're going to get with the Need for Speed, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, F1 is a tough sell. It's not real popular in North America,
Yeah.
right? But I just want to point out, once again, Rush is a good Canadian band. Just want to throw that out there. All right, what's next?
Danny, because I can't pronounce your whole Twitter name, wants to know if there's a possibility of an Artemis Fowl movie.
Here's the thing. I'm very passionate about this. I have no idea what that is.
yeah, I have no
I
idea
gotta
what that
tell you
is.
right now, I'm not sure what that is.
Jeremy and I looked at each other.
Harloff
and went,
looked like what I was thinking. I was like,
we both made the owl
Maybe I'm the
sound.
only expert on this because Artemis Fowl is, I believe, the name of my old neighbor who lives next door. he's on a rocking chair. He's got a shotgun. I think that's Artemis Fowl. I think that's
See,
his
when you
name.
said Artemis, the first thing I thought of was, remember
Wild
the girl
Wild
who
West?
became, no, I was thinking about the other Amazonian who became Wonder Woman for like a year or two in the comics like 10 years ago. Her name's Artemis.
I like
That's
this
as
movie
far
we're
as I
making.
go.
This is a good
This
film
one
right
sounds
here.
good.
I think
right
Chris
here.
Lee made that up.
I totally did it. And when I saw it, I was like, I have no idea what this is. These guys definitely
these
know
geeks
what
will
it
know.
is.
Yeah, we'll
And
know.
Nobody knew.
Okay, what's up?
Mark, turn down that music.
Damon Driscoll wants to know, will there ever be an Inception remake in the future?
Remake? I
Oh,
hope to
it's
God not.
far
You
too
know
early to
Inception,
be
right?
talking about that.
Yeah,
I couldn't
guess-
dream of an Inception remake.
Oh,
Thank you.
I
See you
think-
guys.
I think-
24.95 maybe.
Oh,
I think the sequel's a question.
And by the way, Artemis Fowl is a series of 8 science fiction novels written by Irish author Éoin Colfer.
No
there you
Google,
go.
John.
I don't know.
No Google search.
What are you talking about? I pulled that off the top of my head.
When is John get a computer?
Sorry, what was the question? What are we
The
on?
question is Inception. Were they going to do a remake? Ever remake?
Oh.
It's too soon. I think the question maybe should be like, is there a sequel? Because that was a lot of people were talking.
I'd like to extend that world. That'd be really interesting.
You could. I mean, I think that runs the risk, again, going back to what Jeremy said before, as far as eliminating mystery and stuff, because the whole fun of Inception is the
Right.
debate at the end. You know,
Right.
I mean, for anybody who hasn't seen it, but the last shot, like, that's a debate you want to have for the rest of the time.
I thought the last shot was a total absolute cop-out. I don't like it when directors go, I don't know what the ending meant. You tell me. You decide for yourself. But here's the one problem I have with the idea of ever doing an Inception sequel, and I said this before, and maybe there's a good argument around it. You know, Inception starts with you go into somebody's dream, and then about still in the third act, in the first act, I mean, then they go, wait a minute, we found a way then to go to a dream within a dream, and then by the end of the film, you're in a dream within a dream within a dream.
Yeah.
I believe went to the fourth level within a dream. So what do you do with the sequel? Like now, okay, now wait, hold the phone.
Coma
We've gone to a dream within a dream within a dream within
Yeah.
a dream within a dream. Within
and
a
you
dream.
send
Where
the
do
guys
you
from
go?
the Expendables into that.
You just have to stay on the same level as to be a different person, I guess, is the
Just
thing.
a totally different story, but still
Yeah,
incepting people.
I think you run the risk of just diluting it. So.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually agree with you about endings. I usually hate cop-out endings. There are two that I actually roll with, and that is The Gray and Inception. Because I feel like in those movies you have enough to go, I can, with confidence, say I
Yeah.
know what the ending
I'm
means.
pretty sure I know what happened at the end of the Greg. Like, my money's on the wolf.
Well,
Well,
that's
no,
not what
watch
I
the
came
end
up
credits?
with.
Did
You
you
didn't
not
see
see
the
the
end
end
credits? No, you
credits?
didn't.
That extra scene in the end
Did I
credits?
lose money in Vegas right now?
Okay.
I put 2 grand on the wolf.
You usually run out right before the credits end.
Yeah,
so.
you usually got to pee.
Yeah, unless it's a Marvel movie.
All right, what's next?
Aaron Ryan Tucci says, what do you think on a King Kong versus Godzilla reboot in the next 10 years?
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it. No matter how ridiculous anything may sound to you, if things are making money and they think something else can make money, that thing will get made. If Godzilla is a hit, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, what's ridiculous about a huge monkey fighting a giant nuclear lizard?
Honestly, I thought it was ridiculous.
I saw the new trailer for Godzilla, and my world shifted. It was because the 1998 movie scares me so much with Ferris Bueller and the weird velociraptor.
And the voice of Mr. Burns.
Yeah, it was so weird to see Mo the bartender in a Godzilla movie. But then seeing that trailer, the first thing I thought was I saw that I got the classic scream, I got the way Godzilla used to look, and I thought, all right, let's let this guy get warmed up, and then bring in King Kong. I want to see this fight. And if they give us a cop-out ending in that one, Mark Ellis is going to be upset. I will write a letter.
I named my 2 dogs Gypsy and Danger, so I got a little too excited for sitting next to Mark Ellis right now. I want that movie today.
Yeah, I would love to see that movie. I'm a big King Kong, but Godzilla was my favorite as a kid. I cannot wait for the new movie. And if they said a King Kong versus Godzilla, that's going to blow up, man. That brings back, remember the Rampage video game back in the day? Like, give me that.
Do you remember in the originals, too? They made 2 separate endings for the original.
That's right.
Yeah.
One, there was the Japanese ending where Godzilla wins, and then in the other one, King Kong wins.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
But you can't, with Freddy versus Jason, they kind of copped out the ending of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you need a definitive
Give me a winner. Yeah, give me a winner.
Even if my boy King Kong loses, I'd still like a winner or some sort.
If it's made in America, Kong's winning.
Yeah,
Kong's too
probably.
quick. He's too quick. Godzilla's got the tail. He's got
Oh, God, I'd love to see that movie. I'm excited.
All right, let's take one more question.
Amin Kandadi writes, how will Superman talk with Jor-El now that the black thing, which contains his conscience, is gone in the craft?
Well, we
All
don't
right, so
know.
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Well, we don't know that he will. I mean, there's nothing that said that Russell Crowe is coming back to
Right.
play it and whatever. And it's, he's a piece of software. I mean, he could have been transferred into anything really. So it's not that big of a story problem. But like I said, we don't even know that Russell Crowe's coming back, so that might not be an issue.
I always feel bad for fans when they ask questions like this, because we got like a guy like John who knows everything. He's like, I'm going to burn that bridge today. That actually might not happen, because Russell Crowe. And some fans like, I thought it was fun. So, you know what? For you, my man, we don't know, but we might see it.
Yeah,
We could.
I think we might see it as well too. Because,
will.
I mean, even if it's like a quick scene, if they get him back for 2, because they can explain quick, like, oh, he had
yeah,
another
yeah.
one.
Right.
It's so I would like to see Russell Crowe come back. I thought he was one of the coolest things in Mask.
But if you
do
could
too.
bring back Marlon Brando for Superman Returns,
Right.
I'm pretty sure you can
Right.
get some sort of Russell Crowe
Yeah.
in the new movie.
Just take footage from Noah.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.